What's up, Thomas? How you doing? Hello everybody and welcome back to FPL. Today we have another live stream, another Q&A live coming up with the Blank Game Week. So we have a lot to talk about, but first of all, important things out the way before we begin. We have officially welcomed a new member to the flock. Riley Ray Maria has been born. The wife is good. The baby is good, everyone's healthy, everything is good. So we're all happy in the flock household. And here she is.
Excuse the state of me.
It's almost as if we planned it. Hello. So there we go. Oh, I've got you on outside the camera. So this is Riley Ray. Maria, this is what all the waiting was for. And yeah, say hello. So yeah, another person to run in a couple of years while I'm trying to do a video. I'll give it back to you now. Anyway, little bit of an interruption there. I wasn't expecting the missus to bring her in then, so I wasn't really ready. But I've got the Chelsea game in front of me. Barcelona, if you didn't know, are winning 2-0 at the moment against Chelsea. And we are back on the beer, boys. And I'm actually going to have it in a glass because it's a special occasion and we're back. So thank you for everyone that is joining the stream. Of course, what is everybody drinking? And we shall say hello to a few familiar faces. Jamal Rice, how are you doing? Already said hello to Thomas McCarthy. We've got Ricardo Pagan in the chat. How you doing, my friend? Daz Dark, Evan J. Fox. How are you guys doing? J Rock is in the chat. We've got the False 9 in the chat. We've got some hearts for the baby JNO. Thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And we're just, before I get into any questions, we're just going to go over a few things. What happened last game week. And I got 40 points. Which is 1 point below the average. Overall rank just inside the top 1%. There was a point when I was just over the average and I'd moved up a very tiny amount. But to be honest, I wasn't expecting a great game week with all the planning for game week 31. Harry Kane getting injured really didn't help. Firmino and Salah not doing anything didn't help. Literally midfield and up front, I got nothing out of anyone. The people that saved my game week were Pope and me. And then we also have Otamendi coming in to save us with a clean sheet as well. Otamendi starting. Thank you so much, Jamal, for the super chat, the donation. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated. I wasn't expecting that mid-intro, me rambling. So thank you, Jamal Rice. Really appreciated. As I continue to pour my beer and try and think on the fly. Because I'm not going to lie, I haven't prepared this as much as I usually would. Purely because, you know, I haven't. I've been busy with the kid and everything. But yeah, literally Pope, me, Otamendi, only 3 that did anything for me. But they have kept me in the top 1%. And I am now looking towards the 4-game week of Game Week 31. Bournemouth, West Brom, Huddersfield, Palace, Stoke, Everton and Liverpool versus Watford. And at the moment, if I look at the side, we've got 1, 2. If Kenny plays, that's 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then no defenders and no goalkeepers. So defenders and goalkeepers is probably where I have to look at making my changes. Apart from the fact that Walcott is hit or miss whether he's actually going to play, and Kenny I doubt is actually going to play as well. So we're looking good as far as the amount of players. I'm just not happy with any of them really. None of them really stand out apart from the Liverpool options. But hopefully we have a good game week 31. And then of course it does get really, really interesting because we have the likes of Harry Kane and Aguero both picking up knocks. And at the moment, it looks like Sergio Aguero could be back at the end of the month. It looks like he's going to need 2 weeks off. He is ruled out until then. And then Harry Kane looks like potential return could be mid-April, which means he is ruled out for a significant amount of time, actually. There's a chance Aguero won't miss any Premier League action, but I'd imagine he gets rested against Everton, especially if Man City is still in the Champions League in Game Week 32. However, Kane won't be back until Game Week 34. That is, however, a double game week. And are Spurs playing twice in that one? I'm imagining they are. As you can tell, I've not actually looked at this yet. So actually, Spurs look like... Where is their fixture? They're meant to have 2 fixtures somewhere. But yeah, like I said, I'm not prepared at all. But either way, Kane should be back by Game Week 34. That's when all the fixtures will start doubling up. And so Kane could be an option to bring back inside. But a lot of people are looking at Aubameyang. A lot of people are looking at Jesus to fill in the shoes of Aguero. Although it doesn't look like Aguero is going to be out for that long. And Walcott, of course, that was a bit of a knock as well. So that is covering pretty much everything apart from some questions. And I'm going to have to rely on you guys for questions this week. Because I've been a very, very busy man. Absolutely knackered as well. As those of you that are parents know, it's very tiring with a newborn because they need feeding all the time. Didn't say it. Can we have some hearts in the chat for Jamal Rice and the super chat donation as well? So let's get to the questions. Thomas McCarthy, Lingard out. Who should I replace him with? Lingard replacing it. Again, I don't know if you've got a wild card or not. I can't remember off the top of my head. I would say you want a double game week player. Sigurdsson, as far as I'm aware, is injured as well. So if we have a look at Everton, for example, Sigurdsson's definitely out. Balassi has looked decent, so you can maybe take a punt on Balassi. And then you've got Niasse and Toussaint. I kind of wish I'd brought him in. Toussaint, who could do bits for you. If you're actually looking further afield than that, though, like if you're looking past Game Week 31, fixture-wise, Liverpool have a lot of good fixtures with no blanks, so they could be a staple of your side moving forward. You've got Huddersfield with 4 easy fixtures: Palace, Newcastle, Brighton Hove Albion and Watford. You've got the likes of Palace, Liverpool in Game Week 32. You could look at Zaha potentially coming back. You're looking at Moy, Lapara, Pritchard in the Huddersfield side if you're looking for cheap options to replace Lingard with. Leicester or Brighton, if he plays, is a decent shout because of his delivery. Then you've got Bournemouth. Again, some decent players there, but they've been a bit off form recently. Shaqiri, I probably wouldn't go near because of the Arsenal-Tottenham fixtures, Game Week 32 and 33. Brighton, they have some options as well. Decent fixtures up until game week 35, apart from the blank that's just coming. So those are the kind of players I'll be looking at if I was you, Thomas. Jamal Rice says, people watching the Chelsea-Barca game. I completely understand, but I've got to fit this in at some point. And tonight was a night I could fit it in. So that is why I'm streaming tonight. It would have made... I didn't do it yesterday because I know a lot of you are Man United fans. And a lot of people complain when I do it on Man United fixtures. So I thought I'd try a Chelsea fixture. Only issue is they're playing Barcelona, and people would generally watch Barcelona-Chelsea anyway. Baby J&O, congrats, mate. Thank you so much, everyone. Do you think I should play free hits? Evan J. Fox. You need to tell me what other chips you have, mate. If you've got other chips to use, then I'll potentially... Whoa, that is the wrong screen. Don't know how long that's been there. But that should be a different screen. There we go. So you've all been seeing a different skin completely from the one I've been looking at when I've been ranting and raving. But, you know, you've come to expect professionalism here. So, do I think you should play free hit? I would generally try and play it in game week 35, where I think you don't have much time to manoeuvre for. But if you haven't planned ahead in advance for this game week 31, it could pay off for you. But I just don't see there being point scorers easy to predict in those 4 games. Ammon Dillon, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining the stream. J-Rock got 44 points. Decent score there. Kane made me do an unimaginable transfer to Mooney. Hey, for game week 31, that is when you're going to be doing weird transfers, game week 31. The false 9 had a hit and miss a game week. Ayew got sent off, Kane got injured, and I transferred in Sigurdsson for the blank, who also got injured. Son, Otamendi and Pope saved me 43 points. Hey, you still managed to get above the average, so at the end of the day, you haven't done too bad. Who should I play captain? Salah, Mane, Firmino or Mooney? I would play Salah to be safe, because that is the most... That's going to be the most popular decision. It's going to be the most popular captain choice, and if he does really well and you don't pick him and you do get it wrong, then it's going to really hurt your ranking. If you really want to try and jump the rankings and you think you can pick a different captain choice, then you could go for it, but that is a big, big gamble in my eyes. Chris Wood does look half decent. I'm waiting for a bit more consistency from him, but Chris Wood did do great over the weekend, Dazdark. Dylan says that Barnes is better. FIFA 11, congrats JNO, thank you very much, FIFA 11. Lascelles, Pope and Otter saved my bacon. I think defence saved a lot of people this game week. Should I use my wildcard game? That's when I'm going to use my wildcard. I think with that wildcard, you can plan for double game week 34, game week 35, double game week 37, and the end of the season as a run-in. Because I think you've got teams like Leicester who have a pretty good run-in to the end of the season. Whether they'll have something to play for or not is another matter. I'm planning to use my wildcard game week 32. As FIFA 11 says, I think a lot of people are going to be doing that. Ammon Dillon, who watches Chelsea matches. If you're a Barcelona fan, I guess you'll be watching. The false 9 wants to know, with his free transfer, should he get in a midfielder or a second striker? Toussaint or Mooney or Van La Parra and Stanislas. See, the way I look at it is it would completely depend on who I've got playing already. If I've got people playing in all of those positions, I'd probably transfer out someone that isn't playing. However, I like Van La Parra and Toussaint the most out of those 2 options. As far as how I think the results could go, I fancy Huddersfield against Palace. Everton Stoke I could see going either way. So I guess what I'm saying is Toussaint would be the one I would be looking at. Using 32 to get out the Deadwood. Yeah, I agree, J-Rock. As soon as the wild card, because that team I've got right now is rubbish. It's good for game week 31, but before then it's rubbish. I wish I hadn't taken Sterling out until this week, but never mind. Also, Walcott got points, but then only got, which was annoying to me. If I look at Walcott, I wanted to do this when it happened, but I was a bit busy. Did he not get... My phone told me that he got a goal or an assist via Walcott, but he didn't. Really annoying. I thought it paid off and it really hadn't. But never mind. That's just my phone being wrong then. What about Kane, in or out? I'll take Kane out. That's a lot of funds to be wrapped up for a player that may not be playing. I mean, could you wait it out? Because that's an estimated time he's back is 14th of April in time for the double game weeks, but I'd say the fixtures for them from then on, Man City, in fact, let's bring it up. There we go. So we've got Chelsea next. Him missing that's not that big a deal. Stoke, Man City. However, that running is really good, and he's going to want to get into the World Cup side. I would be tempted to try and keep him, but his price is going to drop. Like, I'm not making my transfers yet, and I've got 2 of them because I want to see what happens until the last minute, and then try and make the right moves then. I would say potentially keep Kane. I know that's a lot of funds to be wrapped up. Unless you really see someone that's a better option. Although, to be honest, Kane has been disappointing. Because if we actually look at his points, that is not the points since Game Week 23 that you want from someone you've spent 12+ million on. But just fixture-wise, I think his fixtures look good. Gordon Gilbody is born and bred in Manchester, but he's not United or City. Any reason why you're not either of those sides? And, of course, Gordon, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Riley really enjoys her mattress. She sleeps on it all the time. So, your £5 donation went to a good cause. And now I've got to find something that's £2 from Jamal Rice to get Riley as well. I need to play free hit. I only have Salah and Firmino. Captain Son got 75. That's a good score, but yeah. If you only have 2 players, I would use free hit for Game Week 31. Thomas McCarthy got 42 points. Amon Dillon, terrible 32 points here, all because of bringing in players for Game Week 31. It is the downside of planning for a double game week, or sorry, a blank game week, is the fact that you are going to be hurting your side. Ideally, I should have kept Sterling in instead of taking Sterling out. I should have potentially taken someone else out and then taken Sterling out now. And then I'd have been a little bit better off. But we live and we learn. We live and we learn. It's about trying to take the best players that will continue scoring out just before the game week. Game week 31 will be very interesting. I'm hoping for a massive score for me. But then I'm imagining some of the players I've got are very highly owned. So I may look with my final 2 transfers at differentials. What about Sterling? Keep or out? The thing with Sterling is he's always going to be hit and miss. The way he kind of plays, his finishing is very suspect. He could have amazing game weeks. We've seen it before. I think potentially he's worth keeping in. I think he is favoured by Pep and he will do well. Just you will have game weeks where you want to pull your hair out because he's just infuriating. Asif Chowdhury, 10 players should enough for next week, game week. I'd say 10 players is enough. I wouldn't necessarily have to take hits if you've got 10 players. Who should I get for Kane? If I was taking Kane out, with game week 31 in mind, the only players worth anywhere near that amount are Liverpool players, Mane and Salah. If you're looking past game week 31, I think I'd like to look, if memory serves me correctly, of Aubameyang. 10.4 million, and only Man United in the last set of fixtures. And they do play in Game Week 35, which helps if you don't have a free hit chip for that game week. I do like the look of Aubameyang. It is a bit of a risk because he's had a couple of good games, but he's not set the world alight there yet. But I do like the look of him overall. I had a good week, 49 points. Was lucky I had 2 Burnley defenders and Otamendi, and I had Mahrez. So Mahrez, a lot of people brought him in. The reason I didn't is because of the blank game week. But I'm thinking Mahrez could find his way into my wildcard side. I will take a -4 for Mignolet. True, Mignolet is unlikely to play now, isn't he? So that's a bit of a knock. Thomas McCarthy, my team is Foster, Elliott, Hegarty, Mariappa, Schindler, Sterling, Ali, Khan, Salah, Lingard, Firmino, Wilson, me, Kane, Otamendi. I mean, that's a good side, but with the blank game week coming, you've got West Brom are playing, aren't they? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 8 players. That's probably enough as long as some of those 8 players do something. So I'll be okay with that. One more transfer in, you've got 9. Another hoops. The wife has given birth. Right at the beginning of the stream, the wife did bring in my new daughter, Riley Ray Maria. So yeah, we're giving birth. And everyone's healthy, everything's good. So thank you for asking. If you didn't see, that was a thumbs up, but I did it way down here for some reason. Aman Dillon got 8 players for 31 so far. Van Dijk, Daniel, Shaqiri, Salah, Milovic, Wilson, Firmino, Mooney, plus Kenny, who's doubtful. Kenny is doubtful in my mind. Is that good enough to put another player for a hit? If so, which one? I mean, I would have. How many players, Liverpool players, you got? You got 3. I like Huddersfield. My gut is telling me Huddersfield is the team to go with against Palace. If I look at each side, the ones I'd go for, Bournemouth, I really don't like, because I feel like a lot of their points are coming from defenders at the moment, which is annoying. It's hard to predict points from any of the forwards. West Brom, Brunt is really the only one I'm really looking at as far as someone that could do well. Defenders can, of course, pop up with points from the West Brom side, though. We've got Huddersfield. I like Moy, I like Pritchard, I like Van der Para, I like Mooney. There's plenty of options, I believe, in that Huddersfield side, potentially. Schindler is probably my go-to defender. I do like the Huddersfield players. Palace, Van Aanholt, maybe Zaha could be a good differential. He can have good weeks. You've also got the likes of Townsend, Milovic on penalties. Stoke, Shaqiri is probably the one I would look at. And then maybe Bauer if you want a cheap defender. And then if you want a goalkeeper, Butland. Everton side, it's hard to predict. Sigurdsson would have been the one I'd go for. He's now not playing. He's injured. Theo Walcott, maybe. Toussaint is probably my go-to pick. Then you've got the likes of Seamus Coleman, who could come up with points. You've got Baines, of course, who could come up with points. As long as they play. Liverpool, we all know the Liverpool side by now. And Watford, Troy Deeney looks like the likely man to go to in that side. So hopefully that's given you some insight into who I'd look at each of those sides. I've had Rodriguez, West Bromwich Albion in my squad for 6 games now. Doctors put me on medication. That's a long time to have Rodriguez from West Bromwich Albion. Rondon could do well in a game week. Just I wouldn't put money on him doing well. Jan Ivor Jacobson, how are you doing, my friend? Thank you. All is well. Baby is born. Everything's good. Everything's safe. Everyone's healthy. So we're all happy. All happy in Team Flock. Suggestions for Game Week 31. Only have Salah and Firmino need to play free hit. Please suggest players. I think I just literally did that. So I'd be looking at those players that I mentioned. If that wasn't clear, Desiree Charija, I can go over it again. Just let me know in the chat. Thank you, Aman Dillon. If you get rid of Kane, do you think you'd get him back before the end of the season? I probably would. And I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like the one season I've decided Kane is a must-have all season is the season he's not performed as well as he has done recently, or previous seasons. Jeff Holt, thank you so much for the donation, for the super chat. Much appreciated. £10. Wow. Gonna have to get something for the baby as well for that. Thank you so much for the donation. Much appreciated. Some hearts in the chat for Jeff, the PR man for FPL Today and other channels now. I see you on Twitter giving other people advice. I'm going to have to get you on retainer or something. I can't have you giving everyone advice. I need it for myself. Okay. My computer's jumping. Apologies if the super chat alert is jumping for you guys. So the thing is, I may look at how safe Tottenham are in the Champions League places and maybe go for someone else. But I know I'd hit myself if Kane did really well and I didn't bring him back in. Huddersfield won't keep a clean sheet. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet, but I think the attacking options are very good at Huddersfield. Palace do look decent going forward from what I've heard. I've not watched last weekend's fixtures because I was in hospital, I was busy. But Evan J. Fox, if I was looking for strikers, I'd be looking at Toussaint and Mooney. Those are the ones that I like the look of. TP is back in the chat. How you doing, my friend? RIP all of those who have Kane. Yeah, but you know, we've got time to sort it out. Kane's so expensive that it's not like you can't just bring anyone in. Desiree Treedra, I believe Rondon could score. I just am not a fan of him necessarily. I don't think he's the type of player that will always score big. Thank you, TP, for replying to the tweet. The tweet did very well, in fact. So I just tried to put hearts on everyone's reply. If I didn't, TP, on yours, I apologise. Another hoops was the same way about as me. It's hard to let go of Kane. It really is. Like, it's like he's got a place in my heart or something. Like, after the family, he's like... He was the anchor to my life, and now he's just not performing at all, which is disappointing. Okay, is there anything else I wanted to cover? While we wait for some more questions, because, I mean, I don't want this to go on too long. If it does go on for ages, that's fine. But ideally, because I don't think I'll be getting an actual video out this week, because, of course, family, lots of visitors to see the new kid. Because of that, this probably will be the only video before Game Week 31. As far as people rising in price, Lukaku, Aubameyang and Shaqiri are all scheduled to rise in price tonight. Lukaku and Aubameyang are in reaction to some good performances recently. I feel like Aubameyang and Lukaku, though, if you're looking to bring those in, you probably have the funds to do so anyway. I don't think these price changes will affect you. Shaqiri could. If you're looking for Shaqiri for Game Week 31, you may need to bring him in tonight, because at the moment he's 6.3, could be going up to 6.4. You've got Van Dijk close to rising, but it probably won't be tonight. You've got Robertson also close to rising. You've got Van La Parra, not as close as the Liverpool players. You've got Ryan from Brighton close to rising, although to be fair, he's on a downward trend recently. You've got Lascelles on a rise, 96.1%. At the moment, he's at 4.7. So that is someone you could look at. You've got Alexander-Arnold also on a rise, but it doesn't look like he's going to rise for a couple of nights. As far as drops go, Moreno could drop, 99.1%. Davis could drop tonight at 99.1% as well from Southampton. Cleverley is also at 99%. As Gomez is also at 98.9%. Interesting to see those could be dropping, because Watford and Liverpool players will be playing, of course. So it's interesting to see that those are going down. However, if they're not playing or they're not playing well, what's the point in keeping them around? As far as other injuries, is there any big news? Apparently Ali may have an injury as well, which means Tottenham, when they come back, could be quite low on attacking figures. So let's have a look at Dele Alli. as well. He looks like he could be back this weekend. 50% chance of playing. So, but for those of you that wondering, Davis and Rose, both 75% chance of playing. Aurier and Trippier played the last game for Spurs. And they did rather well, didn't they? But to be honest, it looks like to me, Davis or Rose will be back in time for when Spurs are back in the Premier League. Oh, we got J. Sean Hendrickson in the chat. Thank you for joining the chat. I think it's the first time I've seen you. Shout out to you for joining the stream. Much appreciated. Always happy to welcome new members to the flock. TP Analysis, Football Analysis, wants to know, will Southampton stay up? You know what? I'm going to have a look at the table because off the top of my head, I don't remember it. So, Southampton are just above the relegation area on 28 points. Palace and Stoke on 27. Right now, I think West Brom will go down. West Ham are on a downward spiral. I'm worried about their mentality at the moment. Swansea have done rather well recently, haven't they? Newcastle looked okay. Bournemouth haven't impressed me over the last 4. I would say West Brom are going down. I don't like Southampton and West Ham's chances. Palace look like they're putting up some fight despite having lost recently. Stoke, they need to just get some wins. To be honest, I'm looking at the last 5. Stokes has been pretty poor. 3 draws, 2 losses. Palace, 4 losses, 1 draw. Southampton have a win in there. But I just feel like Stoke and Palace could, at least one of them, do rather well. And then Southampton are going to have to hope like West Ham do badly. I would predict West Brom, Southampton, maybe West Ham. I don't want to say that, of course. Barcelona have just scored, so it's 3-0. Barcelona are running all over Chelsea at the moment. I think Southampton might go down. I don't particularly want them to. I quite like Southampton as a club. Just this year has been pretty terrible. Don't think now is the best time to be firing a manager. I think they should have done it when Swansea did theirs, but we'll see. Ammon Dillon, can't wait to wildcarding. I'll be honest, Ammon, you've done very well to be this patient in your first FPL season, so well done to you. Jeff Holt, which players are worth keeping from Game Week 31 onwards? So, Game Week 31 players, after Game Week 31, which players are worth keeping? So, what I will do is I'll look at each side's fixtures and then kind of wing it from there. So, Liverpool, any Liverpool players worth keeping? Huddersfield have a good run up until Game Week 35. I would be looking at the likes of Moy, Pritchard, Van La Parra, Mooney. Defensively, I don't think you need to keep them past Game Week 31 though, so it'd be mainly midfielders and attacking players for Huddersfield. Palace, the fixtures look okay after Liverpool in Game Week 32. Van Aanholt has looked decent attacking wise. Zaha is a player that has had good performances and they will be of course fighting to survive. So I'll be looking at a few players from Palace could be worth keeping if you think they're really going to fight to stay in the league. Watford I would steer clear of. Maybe Troy Deeney, but there's no one from Watford I'd really be keeping. Bournemouth, again, to be honest, no one there really stands out. Wilson did for a little bit. You have some options in midfield. The defence can get points. I just think it's too unreliable a source of points from Bournemouth. Stoke, Shaqiri is probably the only one I'd really be looking at right now from Stoke. Everton, maybe Toussaint. Sigurdsson when he comes back. Coleman if you want to take a risk on a player who has some good pedigree of scoring points in the Premier League. And then West Brom, I probably wouldn't keep anyone from that West Brom side. So those are the players I'd be looking at keeping from players been brought in because of Game Week 31. Leeds fan from Manchester. Wow, Gordon. That must have toughened you up, mate. I've got some Leeds... I've got Man United fans as friends as well. I don't discriminate. But I've got some Leeds fans as friends, and they hate Man United. Absolutely despise them. So I can imagine what you went through at school. I got stick for supporting my local team at school, because everyone supported Chelsea or Arsenal or Liverpool or Man United. But, well. Ammon Dillon, price rise are also a good reason to wildcard in Game Week 32 than 33, I think. True, I definitely think that is a good reason to be wildcarding as soon as you can. Jeff Holt, you caught me, JNO. Naming other streamers, feel like I've been caught cheating on you. Hey, you did it for me first. I'll always be your first, I think. Unless I wasn't your first. But we'll always have that, Jeff. It was always me and you first, and then you kind of spread your wings. Ammon Dillon, I like Van Aanholt as a risk. If you're going to take a risk, Van Aanholt would be one of the players I would be looking at to take that -2. Should I keep Ericsson or get Son? Or bin Ericsson? Spurs have decent fixtures. I really like Son right now, and Kane being injured could be good for Son. Like right now, Son looks really good. I'm not going to lie. When he's on form, Son looks pretty damn amazing. I mean, those two fixtures there aren't great. But against Chelsea, I could see Son doing something. Maybe against Man City. Not sure if he has a history of doing well against big clubs, though. His big scores have all come against small teams. So, maybe definitely look at him after he's got past those tough fixtures. Thomas McCarthy, I'd agree. You can play the wildcard as soon as the deadline has gone for the game week. So, go for it. TP Football Analysis team, we've got De Gea, we've got Pope, Otamendi, Monreal, me, Daniels, Mbemba, Sterling, Lingard, Ward-Prowse, Grosh, Salah, De Poitre, Kane and Firmino. 2 free transfers. Who should I swap Kane for and who should I upgrade? I mean, for Game Week 31, I would literally look at bringing in another Liverpool player. Because you've only got 2 there. You're really running low TP on players of Game Week 31. As far as upgrading, I would literally just look to bring in the player you feel that is playing this game week that is the most likely to score points. I can fit you and Lee and Sam into my portfolio. That sounds a bit kinky, Jeff, but never mind. Flock the in-laws, joint stream. My little girl's name is Riley Ray Maria. Ray is the name of my wife's dad, who passed away last year. Maria is the name of my mum, and Riley is just a name we liked. It was going to be Layla, but a friend of ours picked the name without stealing it from us. They didn't know we were going to name our kid Layla. They picked Layla for their kid, so yeah. That is the story behind the name. If you watch the stream back when it goes live, right at the beginning, my wife does bring Riley in. Simon the Bomb. As far as game week 31 goes, I could bring in someone for Kane. Potentially. Maybe Toussaint, because I keep mentioning him. That would probably be the move I make if I'm doing it for game week 31. But I may just look at defenders to bring in instead. Toussaint would be the one if I was doing it this game week. If I'm looking past this game week, Aubameyang is the one that I might take a risk on. And potentially, you've got Vardy as well, has got a decent run of fixtures after this. And Jesus could take advantage of Aguero being out for a bit. See, Ammon, I really, for some reason, I don't want Stoke to get relegated, but I don't want Southampton or West Ham to either. Strictly speaking, Palace should have a place in my heart because my team used to play at Palace's stadium. But I don't mind if they go down particularly. Nothing about the way they play or watching them excites me. Jan Jacobson taking out nearly everyone after game week 31, apart from the Liverpool players. Maria is chuffed. Yes, Maria is in the name, so I suppose I could have lied and said it was named after your wife, but my mum is actually called Maria as well, so that is the actual reason. But hey, just whatever reason they shared a name for is still good. Everton defenders for game week 31. I would, if I'm going for a punt, I would take Seamus Coleman. Seamus Coleman could do really well. Baines could be on penalties. I would go all out in a game week like that and try and get the player that could score big. Coleman and Baines are the type of defenders that could score massive. I never followed FPL until this season. What was last season like on game week 39? I'm assuming you mean game week 38 because there's no game week 39. Game week 38, when we get to it, I'll speak more on it, but it's a nightmare to predict. It's where you start taking gambles. It's where you can get massive performances from random players. And if you were lucky enough to have that player, you just laughed your way to a massive rank. I almost got top 10k last year. So last season was almost the perfect end to the season, but it wasn't. Bournemouth defence. If the points regularly came from the same defender, attacking-wise, I'd look at Bournemouth. But defensively, I don't feel like they're a safe bet. So that's why I don't really put them in my side. JNO, who's going to be your third striker? Jack Nash for game week 31. Thank you for joining the stream, Jack. I imagine I may not even bring the striker, but if it is, it's going to be Toussaint from Everton. And then if I wanted Coleman, I would have to take out Kenny, if that's the case, though. Because I think Coleman could... I'm not saying this is a gamble by me. This is what I'm saying. I'm not suggesting Coleman is the move to make. I just have a feeling he could have a really good game week. And this could be like his reintroduction to FPL players. Because those of you who haven't played before this season, Coleman used to be one of the main defenders to have in your side. So I could potentially go there. Amin Dillon just wants to point out the number 1 and 2 players in the world for the last 10 weeks have been from India. Fair play to them. They've obviously been doing their homework. Hopefully they've been watching this channel, but probably not, because I'm pretty sure they'd be bragging if they were. And unless any more questions are coming in, I'm probably going to end the stream there, purely because, 1, I'm tired. Not going to lie. 2, you know what? It's the week I've had my child, so if there's any week I can do a short stream, this is probably the one. But it does mean I've got the video out for the week, which is always my main goal. This could be the first year I don't miss a single game week as far as videos are concerned, which will be fantastic. So that would be a plus. Jack Nash. Baines on logic would be better. But the amount of seasons where Baines had penalties and Coleman still kept up with him or outscored him, were, as from memory, I think it happened quite often. So, you know, I just feel like Coleman is the one I would take the gamble on. Anyway, a bunch of buys from everyone in the stream. Ricardo, Thomas, Jan Jacobson, Gordon Gilbody, Jeff Holt. Thank you, Jamal and Jeff, for the Super Chat donations. Always massively appreciated when anyone supports the channel in such a way, or just simply supports the fact that I've just had a daughter. So thank you so much. And we'll try and get some content out, because I did do 2 videos for Game Week 31 in advance. So go watch those if you want to support the channel and you miss my face for some reason. But other than that, hope to see you guys at Game Week 32. Was talk of me potentially going through my wild card in a stream as well for Game Week 32, so hope to see you all then. I'll try and nail down a date so you can all try and be there for it. If you want to support the channel in any way, and we did have a new Patreon actually. Should have done this right at the beginning, but I'm going to quickly shout his name out. We have a new Patreon to the channel. And now I've quickly got to find his name. Because I said I always shout out the Patrons when they first become a Patreon. I do an edited video. But the fact that I'm not doing an edited video for a while means that I just want to quickly shout out his name. So, drum roll, if I can find him. Ricardo, it is Ricardo Pagan. So, Ricardo Pagan, who is in the chat? Apologies for going through the whole stream, Ricardo, without mentioning your name. Can we have some hearts in the chat before we go for Ricardo, for becoming the latest Patreon of FPL Today. It's a pleasure having you along as part of the Patreon family. Jeff's a bit jealous because he's no longer the new Patreon. He's now the PR Patreon. You are now officially the new Patreon until we get another one. So enjoy the name. You will be in credits as soon as I get to editing videos again. Thank you so much for your support. And you will get the shout out in an actual edited video as well. But as I don't know when that will be, I'm presuming it will be next week. Your shout out is right here, right now. So thank you so much, Ricardo. And just quickly, because Tiger Rage has quickly jumped in the chat. His team is Pope, Elliott, Ogbonna, Van Dijk, Francis Mee, Alonso Sane, Shaqiri, Salah, Walcott, Son, Firmino, Kane, Wilson. 2-3 chances bring in Hennessy or Mooney. I'll bring in Mooney. Hennessy could be a decent shout, but you are running pretty low on Gameweek 31 players there. If you can find any player you feel confident in, I'll potentially take a few transfer hits. But it's not easy because there's only really Liverpool there that is a team you'd probably want to bring in players on a hit for. Do you have 3 Liverpool players? Most people do. Yes, you do. So if there's a player you really like the look of, potentially you could take a hit, Tiger Rage. But that's the way I look at your team. Anyway, I will end it now. So thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Of course, if you want to become a Patreon, like Ricardo Pagan, or if you just want to support the channel any other way, links are in the description. I've been JNO. This has been FPL Today. I'm a new father. And remember, it's all about the game.